the proper clearance for Jack Fischer to install an articulating portable foot restraint and then to place his feet in that foot restraint to be driven to various areas of the worksite to assist Peggy Whitson in the replacement of this avionics box.
And two fish.
Motion.
Copy, good motion.
Two fish will take a glove and hat check when you have time.
Gloves are pristine. Hat check is yes.
And Peggy, see you installing that scoop. That's the appropriate direction, 45 degrees from zenith towards the port. Outstanding.
Fish 50 centimeters to go.
Sounds good, buddy.
Peggy, your next step is going to be to retrieve the ratchet wrench from crew lock bag number 1. And of course, we'll leave that ratchet tethered to the crew lock bag, and you can then translate to the failed XPECA H1 nadir.
To fish, this is your first backup position. We're getting ready for the 4-hour cast to the LC for backup position, and it's going to be in course. Be ready.
Do it.
And for both of you, just a heads up that we're about to go into a night pass.
Okay. Copy. You want me to set up this PGT?
Absolutely. Good call, two fish. I've got settings for you when you're ready. You got it. Bravo 1, counterclockwise 2.
Sweetness, thanks.
Fish, you ready for motion?
Ready, buddy.
All right, in motion.
And Peggy, once you've got that ratchet wrench,
a good view of the Canadarm2 robotic arm in motion as Jack Fischer is being maneuvered to join Peggy Whitson at ELC-4, that's Express Logistics Carrier Platform number 4, that you see attached to the S3 truss of the International Space Station on the starboard or right-hand side of the outpost. Whitson is in the process of breaking torque on some bolts on the Express Carrier avionics box that is to be replaced with a spare that was flown up on the orbital ATK Cygnus resupply craft that launched atop a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station last month.
I wonder if you could do vertically on that Fram handrail. I don't know.
And Peggy, see that you've got your BRT. You think you've got a good body position to break torque?
Yeah, let's see if I can get it in here.
This is the helmet camera view from Peggy Whitson's helmet.
All right, Peggy, so we're going to make sure
the International Space Station and the two spacewalkers are flying 250 miles over the southern Indian Ocean, about to begin a southwest to northeasterly path at 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator that will carry the station and the spacewalkers, as well as the rest of the Expedition 51 crew, just off the northwest coast of Australia a few minutes from now.
Yes, we should have. Did you not put a on that? Not on the film. And tomorrow I'm ready whenever you are to head in.
Okay, I copy. I'll move to the I'll move you to the H2 position to Fisher.
Thanks, buddy. I try with my sister myself in because I want to make sure I'm getting it.
He's ready for motion.
Ready.
All right, ramping in.
Motion.
Copy, good motion. 1 meter 50 to go.
Hey, you guys are doing a great job. It's awesome watching you at work.
Fish 40 centimeters to go.
Okay.
All right, that's your H2 position to fish.
That'll work, buddy. How's it going, Peg? So if it's really ratcheting. We're pretty close. I could push down.
Nice work.
You're moving it.
The fish we're in standby. You'll go for failed. Expect a removal from my side.
I don't think the ratchet is set. Okay, thanks, buddy. Clockwise. Going both ways.
And now that you, if you feel like you've broken torque, you are go to use the PGT at this point.
Okay, why don't we use PGT that way? We want to make sure we get enough turns. Okay. And same settings for this one. Chill. H1, if we were originally going to take this all the way off with the ratchet. I'm counterclockwise too.
Those are good settings, Two Fish.
Feels like it's in there. Ready, Peg? Ready. The back end. Ready. I can feel it popping off the end. Yep, it's at the end then. That was that. Looks like H1's released.
Outstanding. Nice work.
You can feel that.
There are two bolts that hold these express carrier avionics boxes in place. So the crew, Whitson and Fischer, in the process of working in tandem to break torque on the bolts on the avionics box that will be removed from the S3 truss location a short time from now and temporarily stowed. Once the replacement unit is secured and bolted into place, the crew essentially will have completed the one and only task that they have on the docket for today because of the abbreviated nature of today's spacewalk.
So why don't we try that now, and then you can write down the numbers. Ready. Call. Big.
And Peggy and Two Fish back with you after a brief handover.
Alrighty, we got H1. We felt it bumping off the ridge, so it's fully released. And we're just moving down to get a good position for the install. It doesn't matter for the removal, but I'm going port 25 centimeters.
Okay, copy. And so next steps will, once you've got a good body position, we will break torque on H2 with the ratchet wrench. And two fish, if you're in good position to do that, you're welcome to do that.
Thanks, Joe. I totally forgot about that.
Okay, stand by, two fish. I'll go back. I was in manual mode for your GCA, so I'll go to standby if you don't mind.
Sounds great.
Kjell Lindgren, the veteran astronaut and veteran spacewalker of 2 excursions outside the International Space Station in 2015, acting as the spacewalk communicator for Whitson and Fischer during their spacewalk today. We are 1 hour 4 minutes into this 200th spacewalk in support of space station assembly and maintenance. Whitson and Fischer, because of the loss of one of 2 service and cooling umbilicals for the airlock earlier today during spacewalk preparations, both of the crew members were forced to burn some battery power capability while they shared the one remaining SCU, as it is called, to maintain power, oxygen, cooling, and communications capability. So the team here consulted with the space station program officials and determined that we could press ahead with the spacewalk, no safety for the crew members at risk whatsoever. However, we determined that we would conduct an abbreviated spacewalk of just about 4 hours in duration to complete the primary task, that being the replacement of this avionics box that routes telemetry to payloads inside the International Space Station. All of the other tasks that had been planned for today were of a lesser importance in terms of priority. They will be rescheduled on a future spacewalk.
Is that going to be close enough so that you'll have the arm code and be able to install?
Yeah. Sounds great.
Okay. All right. Good. Good.
Go
Okay.
For
Peggy, we want you at the...
position tomorrow. Sorry, Joe.
Oh, no worries. Peggy, I see that you're at the H1 position. That's perfect, so that we can watch leveling as two fish releases H2.
I'm in Bravo 1, counterclockwise 2.
And I can see you're at the line.
Ready?
Ready.
Okay, so stand by, just checking.
Moving. Good motion. Motion.
Okay.
5.
Copy, releasing.
In this helmet camera view from Jack Fischer's helmet camera, you can see a cuff checklist. That's basically the procedures timeline that's condensed into a checklist that the crew members wear on their cuffs, that they can turn the pages on and go to emergency procedures and contingency procedures, as well as something called a crib sheet in case they run into difficulty with the bolting or unbolting of a particular bolt or two on an instrument that they're trying to replace, like they are today. On Instagram, Rico asks, how heavy is an extravehicular mobility unit or spacesuit on Earth? The answer, 250 pounds.
Go to continue.
Copy. We have a 1.8 running torque.
Okay. We're out of the cone on this end.
That's low, continue.
Okay. Just making sure we're up. And I can feel it bumping off the edge.
Okay, great. Great.
Outstanding work.
That was, we got a... I'm sorry, Joe, I keep stepping on you.
No worries.
I did 14 turns, but we had that one low torque warning where I reset the collar with another 3, so it's 17 total.
Okay, copy, 17 turns, thanks. You can unlock the reel on the failed X-Pecaret. And then two fish, you're going to remove that failed X-Peca from the install location and pitch it out 90 degrees to the stow orientation. And then we'll have you and Peggy work together to stow that onto the ball stack mutt.
Yes, sir. Let me get that closer to you. Sorry, Peg. Stable.
It's a little more.
They rotate it for you a little.
Okay. Come on. Paddles. One is out. Let me get down.
And of course, once you've got that failed XPECA and the MUT end effector, we want you to lock the MUT end effector and check that the whole system is clear of the install location.
All right, loosening it. Okay. Very good.
No, I think now both paddles are in. Stand by, let me unlock it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
not in.
Okay, now rotate your end out further starboard if you can. There we go. There.
There we go. Lock that sucker.
Okay. Locked. Okay. Locked. Tightened. All right. Looks good. Okay. Now,
Outstanding work.
we need to
That looks
push it
great.
out a little starboard. I think we're going to need to push it out just a little starboard so it won't interfere when we bring the new guy down.
That's good right there.
Okay. All right.
Copy. Nice work.
I'm going to just have this back in here. We can,
All right, for both of you, we'll have you inspect the H1 and H2 stanchions and the blind mate connectors, looking for FOD.
H2 is clean. Oh, excuse me, H1 nadir is clean. No FOD.
Copy.
Nice.
Well, can you see in my WVS? Hopefully I'm pointing in the right place.
Yeah, we can see those blind mate connectors, and then I think if you can just pan over to the H2 stanchion as well, that'd be great. There it is.
If he's out of position here.
I look okay?
I think you're going to have a better assessment. They look okay to you?
Yeah, I don't see any shavings or anything that would indicate a problem with the bolt.
I can check it when I go by.
All right. Outstanding work. Two Fish, you can give Thomas a go to maneuver to the ELC-4 back-off position.
Mike, you have a go. Let's go back up position.
Okay, going back off position. Be ready for motion.
Peggy, once Two Fish is clear, you are go to translate to the XPECA bag on S3.
All right.
Two Fish motion started.
Oops, sorry, buddy.
I'm just above you. I'm hitting it at the knees. Still having room. Copy that, Thomas. I'm ready. Right behind you.
Hey, you guys are doing a terrific job.
Okay, it's all clear. It's clean, and the connectors look good.
Copy motion.
Copy, Peggy. Thanks for taking another look.
Right, and I'm heading to the bag.
This is Mission Control Houston, 1 hour, 12 minutes into today's spacewalk by Whitson and Fischer. The faulty Express avionics box on the S3 truss of the International Space Station has been removed as the two spacewalkers are moving ahead very, very rapidly with their work, well ahead of the phased elapsed time for these tasks. The crew soon will be moving into the work to install the spare avionics box that was flown up on a Cygnus resupply mission last month.
All right, Peggy, once you get up to the XPECA bag, you can open the lid and attach it using those adjustable equipment tethers to structure.
Okay. Didn't work.
Y'all You might see in my WVS, there's some like Velcro straps with little buckles on the truss. You might want to make sure those things are out of the way. I think those buckles may cause a problem if they're in the way. What I'm talking about.
You mean for where they were installing?
Yeah, for the new one.
They were up above the nadir or the aft plane of the X-Teca. So I'll try and make sure. There were two on port side. I don't know if there were any on the starboard side. We'll have to check that before we install.
Starboard side look like they're attached via Velcro, so they'll stay out of the way. The port side looks like they could be a problem, so we'll just tack them down. Okay. I'm ready whenever you are, Thomas.
Two fish, we're moving in course. Be ready.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and copy all. We concur with your plan.
Copy motion, two fish.
Right behind you, Peg.
Okay. I'm gonna go over to the starboard side here and try and put down this feather.
Sounds good. It looks like motion stopped there, Tomas.
Not quite.
You're just ramping out all smooth.
Take care of you.
And two fish, when you're in good position, you can attach a ret from your MWS to the spare X-Teca tether point and lock that reel out.
Got it. Tomas, when you're ready, I'm ready for motion towards the truss.
Okay, ready for motion.
The X-Pack is rotating.
Oh, it sure is.
Just let me know when you're ready for motion.
I'm ready, buddy.
Okay, in mark.
And be prepared to stop here while I rotate that back around.
No problem. You can bend at the knees.
Okay, so we're starting motion then.
Yes, sir. Please.
A good view of Jack Fischer at the end of the station's robotic arm being driven toward Peggy Whitson by Thomas Pesquet, who is operating the arm from the Destiny Laboratory of the International Outpost. Whitson has opened up the bag containing the spare avionics box that you see now in Fischer's hands as the two work in tandem to maneuver the spare carrier avionics box towards its installation position on a what is called ELC-4, the Express Logistics Carrier number 4 platform. There are 4 of these spare parts platforms around the truss of the International Space Station.
Ready, Peggy? Ready. Coming at you. This is actually a great position for you to check out.
Yes, and I'll turn.
Copy.
I got a red on it. I'm locking it out, and then I have 2 locked scoops.
Perfect.
And good pin, clean channel, the bolting, and let me click on the nadir.
Ma'am? Here, I can move it.
Okay, yeah, looks good. 15 still.
Okay. Ready for the back off position, Tomas.
And just
okay,
confirming,
motion, you got 1 meter 20 to go.
confirming that the ret has been removed from the X-Teca bag.
Yes, sir. And it is on the lid.
On the lid still.
Outstanding.
Okay,
Great work.
Copy that, Tomas. Stop motion.
Need help?
Okay, stop 2 fish.
Yeah, let's go to the ELs or the truss back off position. I already got the box.
Ah, okay, copy, got you. Sorry for the misunderstanding. Going to back off position.
I wasn't clear saying it. Thanks.
And Peggy, if you can cycle your WVS for us, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, am I?
Motion, buddy.
Be good motion, 1 minute to go.
Okay. Got a green light.
Should publish 2 fish.
Looks good. I'm ready to go to the. ESP2 back off position.
Copy, back off position. Stand by 1.
I meant
Peggy,
ELC.
we have good
Sorry.
video. You are go to translate back to the ELC4 XPECA install location, H1 side.
Okay, I'm heading that way now.
And 2 fish, I know that that you know as you are maneuvering into the install position, you've got a lot of pitch authority by leaning back in the APFR.
Okay, yes, sir. Try to keep it way away from the ELC until Peggy's set, and then she's going to GCA me on to the fin if that'll work for you guys.
Sounds great.
Okay, so the Velcro on the starboard side does not look like it should be a problem. Yeah. Just have to hold the 2 on the port side down if it's needed. And I'm going to get low enough that I can.
Tomas, you're waiting on me. Sorry about that. I'm ready for ELC when you are.
Okay, 2 fish, we're moving. That's going to be in course. Be ready. Hold on to that XPECA.
I'm holding tight.
Okay, I'm local down.
Copy that, Peg, and see you kind of assessing the Velcro there. We'll just have you also verify all tools and tethers are clear for the install.
Okay, I can verify all tools and tethers are clear. And looks like if we come in straight, we shouldn't have any problem with these little straps. But
Yes, ma'am.
you know, if we come in straight aft.
I'll keep it high up, and then
Yeah.
once we get to published position, I'll lean over and we can
Yeah.
do it manually.
Okay, great.
Sounds great.
This is Mission Control Houston, flying just to the east of the Philippines, the International Space Station moving from southwest to northeast. Whitson and Fischer are currently taking a moment or two just to figure out the alignment of the new Express Carrier Avionics box. You see that being held right now by Jack Fischer at the end of the station's robotic arm. He is planted in a portable foot restraint at the end of the arm, being driven by Thomas Pesquet, who's operating the arm from the robotic workstation in the Destiny Laboratory of the International Space Station. 1 hour, 23 minutes now into the spacewalk that began at 8:08 a.m. Central Time. The crew moving very, very swiftly through the one task that had been identified for this abbreviated spacewalk. Whether or not the flight control team here, under the direction of Flight Director Greg Whitney, elects to reconsider the possibility of adding any additional tasks, will be reevaluated after this XPECA, or the Carrier Avionics box, is installed and bolted into place on the S3 truss of the International Space Station.
Sounds good, buddy. Ready for motion.
Okay, we got a clean work surface.
1 meter to go.
Copy that.
Centimeters.
Do you think, Jack, do you want to go starboard at all?
Seems different than the last one, huh?
I know.
That's your published to fish.
Is this the... Okay. Now let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
This might be even better because I can kind of see.
Okay, on that side you need to come port, a little bit towards more port. Port, okay, looks like you're lined up there. Maybe just a tiny bit nader.
Nader.
Yeah, there you go. Good, 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 good. Okay.
Nicely done.
On it.
We're expecting a soft dock of less than 10 pounds.
Is that a soft dock?
Feel like it is? Yeah, it was.
Two fish were in standby. You'll go for the expected install.
Thanks, buddy.
Great work.
I'm going to hold this in because it's going to slow down.
Two fish, I have PGT settings for you when you're ready.
Is that,
It's clear. The
I'm
little tether.
convinced that it's...
The soft dock. Okay.
Yeah, it just
Hold it right there and I'll come and look up at it.
kind of feels like maybe it's just jammed a little.
I got it. I put it local down. Okay.
The view from Jack Fischer's helmet camera, Peggy Whitson just beneath him, as the two work to align the spare express carrier avionics box into its installation position on the S3 truss, replacing a faulty unit that was removed a short time ago. Once the alignment is complete, Fischer will use a pistol grip tool to drive a pair of bolts and firmly affix this new avionics box to the International Space Station.
But I get go about 30 centimeters starboard. Sorry, buddy.
Hey, not a problem. 30 centimeters starboard, copy.
Got the
I got it. I've got it.
I'm kind of over the top of you. Back up. Oh, we're moving.
Two fish, you ready for motion?
Ready.
All right, motion.
Good motion. Hot motion.
That motion, that's 25 centimeters.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay, and Jack, I recommend you drive one turn or two, and then to make sure that it's moving.
Two fish, you're in standby. You're ready for expect install.
Thanks,
Then I'll change position and get down there H1 and make sure it doesn't bounce like we saw on the uninstall. Okay.
Sounds good. Oh, I'm ready.
Alpha 5, clockwise 2.
Alpha 5, clockwise 2. Copy that.
Meeting surface is clear.
Copy.
Okay, you're going to verify the socket is fully seated through the square scoop. And if Peggy is ready, we are ready for you to drive the H2 bolt to a hard stop, expecting 14 to 16 turns.
Okay. Alpha 5, clockwise 2, 14 to 16 turns.
Good words.
I am seated. Okay.
Motion.
Okay. Have a low torque warning again like we did the last time. Coming out. Okay. At 8, that was after one turn. Cycle. Ready?
Ready.
You're good to continue.
It's torquing out that one. It got up to 15.5. It still has the low torque fault.
Okay, stand by.
No motion at all down here.
And Peggy, how's your leveling? It looks like the entire box is nicely leveled.
Let me check.
And then Two Fish, we just asked you to make sure that you're in a good body orientation so that there's no laxity in the system.
Sounds good.
And then also to just confirm that you're well seated.
Yes, sir. Okay. Ready, Peggy?
Ready.
Come on, baby. Not in there.
I don't know if we're
Stand by.
deep enough.
And
We're not
stand.
deep enough.
And actually stand by for a handover.
It's not even in, but
Yeah.
it just pops right out.
Okay.
Hey, Two Fish, we'd like you to hold off for a moment.
Yeah. We're just looking at. We're not going to make any turns.
Okay,
Absolutely
copy.
not.
And let me just see. When you push down, yeah. Hand me that and push down on both H2 and H3 at the same time. Okay, nope. Stand by. We're not out of H1 now. Okay.
And I think you guys are doing the right thing. We want to make sure that the box is appropriately in soft dock. We think that it may not have been fully seated, and it's going to be H2 only that has that soft dock. So you're going to push it down level, but really kind of applying force at the H2.
Okay. Push down on it if you can.
Okay. How are we on that side?
Good. We're in the socket.
Okay, I just felt it sunk down, which I didn't feel last time. I think that might be the soft dock.
Okay, give it a try.
Okay, copy that. Great work. And we'll just verify that your PGT settings are alpha 5, clockwise 2.
Let me call it again. The power switch. Alpha 5, clockwise 2.
Awesome.
Doesn't look like it's in there. Is that to the line there? Look like it.
Right.
There it is.
It's in.
Okay.
Okay. Stand by. Second here. All right. Go ahead. Turn.
Let me try to. Okay. Ready?
Ready. Motion. Motion. Good motion.
Okay.
Okay, it's rocking a little at this end. I'm just going to put a finger on it. Keep it from rocking.
Going down.
It's going down.
Okay.
Motion.
You get a low torque.
How many turns for that low torque?
After 9.
Copy and continue.
Low torque. Got 2 more turns.
Low torque after 2 turns, you are go to continue.
Fish, I can put the brakes on the arm if you want a more rigid arm. Is that going to help you?
I think we're just about there.
We're almost got it.
Okay.
We got a good torque, and we got 5 more turns out of it. What you look like?
It's a little bit higher down here at H1, but it looks mated on H2 end.
You can see, guys, we got it 6.8. That's 16 turns, 6.8. Somebody just turned on the light.
6.8, 16 turns. Outstanding. And there's daylight for you. Peggy, copy your words about H2 looks secure, a little bit off on H1, and we will take a WVS reset when you have a minute.
For me?
Yes, for Peggy.
Okay, I need to make sure.
This is Mission Control Houston. 1 hour, 35 minutes into the spacewalk. The replacement express carrier avionics box has now been bolted into place on the S3 truss. Jack Fischer operating the pistol grip tool. At the bottom of your screen, Peggy Whitson visible, wearing the suit bearing the red stripes through Jack Fischer's helmet camera.
We're following along at Concur. And Peggy, we've got good WVS from you. Thank you.
All right, I'm moving out of the way.
Fisher, ready for motion?
Ready.
Going nadir, station nadir, 45 centimeters.
Two Fish, while you're moving, we're going to use this same settings, Alpha 5, clockwise 2.
Motion.
Motion stop, that's your 45 centimeters, 2 Fish.
Alpha 5, clockwise 2, got it. Help me with keeping it straight, Peggy. Cool.
We're going to fully seat the socket.
Thanks, buddy.
Expect 4 to 6 turns.
Seated. 4 to 6 turns. Copy. Ready? Ready.
A couple of more turns here to drive the second of 2 bolts to a hard stop, but the new Expecca, the replacement avionics box, is now installed on ELC4, the spare parts platform number 4 on the S3 truss of the International Space Station.
Now comes the rejoicing part, hopefully.
Yeah, when they power it up.
So, even with the 4 hours, there's not enough time to check AMS or anything.
And we're talking the forward plan right now. Two Fish will give you words here shortly. You can go ahead and unlock and release your MWS rep from the spare Expecca.
I want to bring that failed one back to the bag, and we'll tidy that up while we're waiting.
And stand by.
We want to check it out first.
Yep, I have words for you here shortly.
Check it first. Can you push on my...
This is Mission Control Houston. Flight controllers here talking now on the forward plan, since Whitson and Fischer quickly breezed through the installation of the new avionics box.
AMS Terminator task and the GEM RMS MLI task. So right now, Peggy, we'll have you go ahead and retrieve the small locking electrical connector tool from crew lock bag number 1 and stow that on your MWS.
Okay. Inward.
Again,
And
see, the faulty avionics box now will be stowed by Whitson and Fischer, and they now will be given the green light to press ahead with 2 tasks that we thought at the beginning of this abbreviated EVA they would not be able to get to. But because of the rapidity at which they've worked through the installation of the new avionics box, we're going to press ahead for the installation of this terminator cable for the alpha magnetic spectrometer cosmic ray detector on the S3 truss of the International Space Station, and to cinch up some thermal insulation on the at the end of the remote manipulator system, the robotic arm, for the Japanese experiment module that resides outside of the Kibo module of the International Space Station.
Okay.
And that's affirmative, Peggy. We'd like you to grab that connector tool and stow that on your MWS.
Okay, inward.
and you said to lock out my ret, Phil?
And two fish, no, it's not necessary for you to lock out the ret.
Okay, got a ret on.
Okay, perfect. And as soon as both of you are ready, we can release the ELC-4 ret from the failed XPECA and stow that ret on the MUT end effector jaws.
Since I'm over here, I can reach everything. You want me to just get off and grab the XPECA?
That's affirmative. So once, so that now that you have a ret from your MWS, you can release the ret from the end effector jaws and release the XPECA from the MUT ball stack MUT.
All right, Jill, I got it, and I got a ret on it.
I see it.
Two scoops that are in lock, and so now I'm ready to go to the XPECA back off position.
Copy, 2 fish, stand by 1.
Concur. Great work. Peggy, when you're ready, you can translate to the XPECA bag on S3.
Fish starting motion.
Thanks. I see motion, good motion.
Copy, good motion.
I got the connector tool on my mini workstation. I'm removing my local, and then I'll translate.
Outstanding. And so big picture, we're just going to be stowing this failed XPECA into the XPECA bag and closing it up.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Based on how it came out, that might be, I'll go Zeta and you stay a little more zenith, and we can try and control both ends.
2 fish, that's your back off position.
I'm ready for the truss back off position.
In work.
It only took me 3 trips, but I finally figured out a good way to get back and forth.
How'd you do it?
I could turn around and reach one handrail over to that panel where they...
This is Mission Control Houston. Just to recap, the crew has breezed through the primary objective of this abbreviated spacewalk, that being the replacement of a faulty express carrier avionics box for one of the spare parts platforms on the S3 truss of the International Space Station. This avionics box routes telemetry to payloads inside the International Space Station. That work has been completed in very swift fashion. At the beginning of today's spacewalk, which was delayed in getting underway due to a problem with a water leak in a service and cooling umbilical connector to Jack Fischer's spacesuit during spacewalk preparations in the wee hours this morning. The suit itself was just fine. This was a problem with the umbilical in the airlock itself. That required Fischer and Whitson to share the other umbilical available in the airlock for the routing of power, oxygen, cooling, water and communications capability to the suits, and thus burned up a bit of battery power for each of the two spacesuits during spacewalk preparations this morning. So the decision had been made to tackle only the top priority, which was the replacement of this avionics box, but because the crew whisked its way through this task in very short order, Flight Director Greg Whitney, in consultation with the spacewalking officers here in Mission Control, have decided to press ahead with two additional tasks, one being the installation of basically a data cable called an AMS 1553 terminator to the alpha magnetic spectrometer cosmic ray detector that is housed on the S3 truss of the International Space Station, which, by the way, surpassed 100 billion cosmic rays measurements on May the 8th, just a few days ago, back on Monday. 100 billion cosmic rays up to the energy of multi-billion electron volts have now been detected by this revolutionary science instrument on the International Space Station since its installation in the spring of 2011 on the STS-134 mission, the final flight of the shuttle Endeavour. This terminator cable will basically provide a telemetry path for an electrical bus that was once used for communication between the AMS and the shuttle's payload bay when it was delivered to the International Space Station, and which has been unused since the instrument itself, the AMS, was removed from the payload bay of Endeavour in 2011. The terminator, basically a data connector cable, once installed, will be able to provide engineers with insight into the performance of the cooling system of the alpha magnetic spectrometer, which has incurred a few problems recently and which is now under analysis for either maintenance or replacement work during future spacewalks in the years ahead. The installation of this 1553 terminator or data cable will significantly reduce the risk to any repair work that is being contemplated by providing a ready-made data path between the AMS and the International Space Station itself. The other task that the crew will be working on, Whitson will tackle the AMS terminator cable installation. Jack Fischer will straighten out and secure some thermal insulation on a connector latching mechanism that connects the boom of the Japanese robotic arm to the latching mechanism itself. It was noted that MLI, or multi-layer insulation, had separated just a bit. So either through the use of Velcro or wire ties, Fischer will secure that multi-layer insulation at the point where the boom of the Japanese robotic arm meets the connector latching mechanism at the end of that robotic arm that is used to move payloads back and forth between the Kibo airlock and an experiments platform just outside the Japanese experiment module.
And then I see you both working to close the X-Pecca bag lid using those two adjustable equipment tethers and Velcro.
Velcro's on the port side there.
Port side?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Come here, little guy.
And in the past few moments, the payload's operations folks at the Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, have reported to Flight Director Greg Whitney that the new Express avionics box that was just installed by Whitson and Fischer is up and running and in excellent shape. So the major objective of this spacewalk, the 200th, in support of space station assembly and maintenance, now complete.
So our forward plan, actually, once you guys have this bag cinched up, we'll take a glove and half inspection, and then Two Fish, we're going to actually have you clean up the arm.
Okay, so the nadir strap is connected. I'm tightening it up with a lid.
Copy. Outstanding.
Okay, that's complete.
We'll take a glove and half check from you as well, Peg.
No change on the gloves or the hat.
And no change for EV2 on gloves or hat.
Copy that. And then, Peggy, we're going to additionally request a gauntlet check for you. You're going to be heading up to AMS.
Good thing. Am I sick? Okay.
I'm jealous. If you don't mind, can I just get out here? Because my safety tether is like 2 feet from me from this position. And it might be a little easier to get the APFR out from up here.
Okay, that sounds great. Two Fish, you are go to egress the APFR.
All right, Tomar, you want to put the brakes on, buddy?
Gauntlet check is good on Peggy, and I'll head to the Sarge. Correct?
And that sounds great. Peg, you're going to fair lead on S3 handrail 3068. We've got a handover coming in about a minute.
This is Mission Control Houston, working in warp speed practically. The crew has completed the replacement of a faulty avionics box used to route telemetry to payloads on board the International Space Station. The new component just installed by Whitson and Fischer, up and running in good shape as we have reached the 1 hour 51 minute mark into today's spacewalk. Originally was going to be reduced to just 4 hours in duration, now may go up to 5 hours. The crew's battery power on both of their suits looking good. The crew in excellent shape and working in tandem in extremely efficient fashion. Whitson will now tackle the task of installing a terminator cable, as it is called, for the alpha magnetic spectrometer cosmic ray detector on the S3 truss of the International Space Station. This connector cable basically will route data between AMS and the International Space Station in a more efficient fashion than has been the case up to this point, and in doing so will provide engineers new insight into how they may create efficiencies in formulating a maintenance and repair plan for some of the cooling pumps inside the alpha magnetic spectrometer that have been exhibiting some thermal excursions in recent years. Jack Fischer is going to cinch down some thermal insulation at the connecting point between the boom of the Japanese robotic arm at the outside of the Kibo module and what is called a connector latching mechanism, or CLM, around the wrist of the Japanese robotic arm that has been partially detached.
We are ready for your tether swap, and have steps when you're ready.
Ready.
Lock your green tether reel.
Tether reel locked.
Retrieve the green hook from handrail 3208.
Have that hook.
Attach the green hook to your red tether reel. Gate closed, hook lock. And Peggy, I have a translation pass for you if you need it.
I think I need to know, just to make sure I'm on the right one, when I turn to go back port.
You bet. You're going to fair lead on handrail 3064 before you translate inboard to the AMS.
So I am locked, green hook on the red tether reel.
Copy, hook locked, correct?
Confirm.
Move your yellow hook to the green tether reel, and we'll take standard checks.
Copy. Go ahead, Peggy.
I'm heading port at 3056, four-man clear lead.
Copy that.
And Peggy, once you start translating inboard, you're going to take that path between the WETA antenna and the grapple fixture.
Okay, I'm underneath the grapple fixture and above the WETA. And
Perfect.
I'm almost to the cast, the second cast.
Understood.
I got
You're
the
going to
yellow.
go ahead, Two Fish.
Yellow hook on the green tether reel, slider closed, black and black locked. Ready to unlock green tether reel.
Copy that. You are go to unlock your green tether reel.
Copy. Tether swap complete.
And that sounds like a good config. Next, we're going to start. Okay, Two Fish, you can start breaking down the APFR.
Look at the Earth.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's the Bahamas. Oh, they're my favorite. Wow, they're so blue.
We're all very jealous right now.
All right, take the APFR, right?
That's right. So you can GCA the arm for APFR removal if you need to. Otherwise, you are go to start removing the APFR. Nadir stanchion, Peggy.
I'm going to local down and put my adjustable lead down.
And we concur. And that adjustable equipment tether hook will go to the Nadir handrail stanchion.
Okay. Got it on the Nadir, got my safety tether running through it.
Okay, that's a great config, Peggy. So you, I know you're familiar with the all of the hazards along the way, going up to the AMS, the fragile components. Feel free to refer to your cuff picture as needed, and I'm happy to coach you also through that translation path up to the IPA.
All right, I think I prefer coaching. All right, I see boxes that with the soft stuff they don't want us to touch here, and I think I'm going to lightly touch on either side of the metal part here.
That's affirmative, yeah. So you're not going to touch those MLI tents, but you're free to basically shimmy up on the sides of that first truss, and then you'll be making your way up, and there will be a box immediately below the shield that has a decal on it, and that white structure you'll be free to touch as well.
So I got the paddles out, block on the VRT. I got a ret to the APFR. I have it secured all on my VRT.
Outstanding. You are go to translate to the starboard seat of cart. You're going to be stowing that APFR in the same width, number 4, clocking 12.
Copy that. Same settings, right?
That is affirmative. 12 Papa Papa Fox 6. Okay, Peggy, see you making your way up and that you're immediately below that smooth aluminum panel with the decal on it. Up to your left, immediately behind the radiator, there's a good stanchion underneath MLI. So you can touch that stanchion. Of course, remember, only light touch on the radiator.
Okay. Demai, your arm is clean. Whatever steps you have.
Copy to Fish. Great job. It was fun flying you around.
It was fun being flown by you.
And then, Peggy, you can attach your waist tether to the trunnion scuff plate as needed.
Okay, I got a waist tether down. Whew.
Good job, Peggy.
Okay.
Okay, Peggy, we see you over that IPA. Really nice work. You can attach your end effector to those cables there, connectors there as needed.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And then once you have your MWS end effector attached, I think we'd just like to have an assessment of the task and whether you think you've got good body position to get that terminator on.
I think I do. It's doable, especially since I can grab onto these cables all I want, right?
That's absolutely correct. And then the next question is, when we're done, we're going to tuck the cable, the P4 cable, underneath those other cables. Do you want to stage a wire tie now, or do you want to just do that at the end?
Let's do. Actually, I'm pretty stable right now. Let's do it now. Let me lock myself in.
Okay, copy.
Peggy Whitson talking with spacewalk communicator Chull Lindgren here in Mission Control. She is now at the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer on the S3 or Starboard 3 truss of the International Space Station, preparing to demate a power cable and replacing it with a terminator cap that will route a different path of telemetry to the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer from the International Space Station. This will enable engineers to do a detailed telemetry study of whether or not this is a more efficient way to assess the performance of the cooling pump system on the cosmic ray detector for future analysis of how best to perform maintenance on this scientific instrument in the years ahead.
And I'm sorry, I missed that last. Was that for me, Peggy?
I just said I'm ready to the wire tie now. I'm trying to get the wire tie off my BRT. It's not cooperating. Here we go.
Okay, Joe. I got a 12 Papa Fox 6 bet. 12 out, black on black. Good pull test.
Outstanding, Two Fish. Great work. you can translate down to the airlock now. So big picture, we're going to have you ingress, grab the small ORU bag, egress, close the thermal hatch cover, and then have you head out to the GEM-R MS MLI task.
Okie dokie. Okay. We're going to J4. Our tire route not good.
Again, Whitson about to install what is called a terminator cap. It's basically a telemetry line that will reroute telemetry from the alpha magnetic spectrometer to the International Space Station, providing engineers with a different path of insight into the performance of the cooling pumps on the cosmic ray detector. If successful, this data path, which has not been used since AMS was removed from the payload bay of the shuttle Endeavour during its installation mission on STS-134 in the spring of 2011, will once again be a viable data path and could create great efficiencies for the engineers who are evaluating maintenance work for the alpha magnetic spectrometer in the years ahead.
Twist on the P4.
Copy that, Peggy. And so when you're ready and you've got, feel like you've got good body position, you're go to demate the P4 cable from the IPA J4 and temp stow that P4 cable.
Okay, so get turned around here.
Thermal cover's open. Bag, I'm over at the airlock.
Okay.
Copy.
And shall I grab the whole bag?
That's affirmative. You're going to grab that whole bag and take it out with you.
Okay, I'm grabbing the whole bag.
I think it might be easier if I just go ahead and use the tool, so I'm going to go ahead and do.
Okay, copy that, Peggy, and you are go.
Clamping on here.
Okay, the red is on the D-ring. That's good.
Okay, I think it was turning on the back shell. I'm going to have to go a little deeper and actually get it off the actual base.
Okay, copy that, Peg.
All right, now it's moving. Okay, we've got it demated.
Outstanding, Peggy. So you can tuck that away and retrieve the AMS terminator from your small EVA trash bag.
Okay.
You see the crew insignia for STS-134 on the alpha magnetic spectrometer. That was the crew that delivered the AMS and installed it on the S3 truss of the International Space Station back in the spring of 2011, a mission commanded by Mark Kelly.
I got my BRT ret on the small or U bag. Got the large small stud on the airlock D-ring extender. I'll check my handles once I get out.
Good words, Two Fish.
We're 2 hours and 10 minutes into today's spacewalk. The crew worked extremely quickly in replacing the faulty avionics carrier component, the avionics box for the S3 truss of the International Space Station that routes telemetry to payloads inside the complex. So with that out of the way, the decision was made to further press ahead with some of the tasks that we originally thought might be off the table for the day. Peggy Whitson installing a terminator cap for the alpha magnetic spectrometer to create a new data path and provide engineers a new path of watching telemetry for the cooling pumps on this cosmic ray detector instrument. Jack Fischer is going to cinch down some insulation around the wrist where a latching mechanism connects to the boom of the Japanese robotic arm at the end of the Kibo module of the International Space Station.
And then just a reminder that the Sharpie arrow should be ISS zenith for the install.
And I can see the big T just lined up with the Sharpie arrow.
Copy.
Get
Outstanding.
it lined up before I push down on it.
Perfect. And then Two Fish, once you're out of the airlock, we'll take your safer handle checks and then also let us know when you've closed the thermal cover.
Copy. Two safer handles down. At the bag. Behind me. Kind of to the side of me so I can watch it. And you want me taking Peggy, well, no, I guess I can't take Peggy's full translation.
This terminator cap that Whitson is installing on the alpha magnetic spectrometer, known as a 1553 terminator, is for a data path that has not been used since the alpha magnetic spectrometer was removed from the payload bay of the shuttle Endeavour during the STS-134 mission that installed it on the S3 truss of the station. Once this connector or terminator cap is connected, it will provide a method for engineers to ensure that the communications path is still viable to try to bypass the current cooling pump system in the alpha magnetic spectrometer and communicate with replacement pumps that would be installed on future maintenance activity. If this data path does not work, then the task of providing maintenance for the alpha magnetic spectrometer would be more complicated.
And then down onto the lab.
Okay. How you doing, Peg?
Working on lining up this terminator. Okay. Got it to drop on, but then in order to re-grab for levers, I'm floating off. See if I can try.
You bet, Peggy. And just a reminder, we got plenty of time for this task, so take your time. Also, you can remove any of those additional connectors near that spot, any of those cables, if that gives you better clearance.
Why don't I do that? Just if it's not, we'll see.
And two fish, as you're making your way out to the Zenith lab, you're going to drop your green hook on handrail lab handrail 247, and that's at the base of the starboard lab strut.
Handrail 247, got it.
Phase 7 steam rated. It was dead face anyway.
The International Space Station flying 250 miles above the Earth, moving from northwest to southeast, having just passed off the east coast of South America, just east of Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Drop your bag there as well.
Okay.
Whitson and Fischer now at the 2-hour 15-minute mark into today's spacewalk. The major accomplishment having been completed, the top objective, the replacement of a express carrier avionics box on the S3 truss of the International Space Station, providing telemetry for payloads inside the complex. The replacement component up and running in good shape, according to the payloads officers at the Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Whitson in the process of installing a terminator cap on the alpha magnetic spectrometer to try to verify a data path that has not been used since the installation of the AMS on the S3 truss of the International Space Station some 6 years ago, ensuring that data path remains viable to provide insight into the operation of the cooling system of this cosmic ray detector that will create efficiencies in planning any maintenance or repair work to the AMS in the years ahead.
Okay, Joe, it's Tim Stode. I got my green hook down on 247.
Okay, terrific. You're going to retrieve the long configured wire tie from the ORU bag and stow that on your MWS.
Roger that. North.
And two fish, sorry, Peggy, that configuration looks good, having the electrical connector tool on the knurled part.
Okay, we'll give a shot here. And get find the right angle. We'll allow it to drop on.
Can appreciate how difficult this this task is. I really appreciate your hard work on it.
Again, you're looking at the crew insignia for STS-134, the final flight of the shuttle Endeavour that delivered the alpha magnetic spectrometer to the International Space Station 6 years ago. Endeavour was the space shuttle from which the very first spacewalk in support of space station assembly and maintenance was conducted, with Jerry Ross and Jim Newman on the STS-88 mission in December 7th, 1998. Today, the 200th spacewalk in support of space station assembly and maintenance.
And then again, forward up to the GEM, and then out port along the GEM to the GEM RMS.
Okay, down the lab, around the income, past the fluid tray, over to node 2, and then I do remember the translation path once we get to the gym, so that should be the same as what Peggy had, right?
That's affirmative.
Okay. All right, I got my wires. I have fun. I'm going to put this back in here just because I don't want it flying off. Probably should have got this wire tie out before I took it off my BRT. Oh well. I got it on, so I can keep it on while I tighten it. Not biggie.
And just to confirm, you said you have the AMS terminator on?
But it's not tight. I'm going to try and finish tighten it with the tool.
Outstanding.
Stand by. It's not outstanding yet.
She's kind of good right now.
Yeah, I know.
We're easy to please.
Well, I got 90 degrees.
Copy 90 degrees.
Further than that.
Yeah, and if you feel like you can get it to 120 where it clicks, that's outstanding, but 90 is pretty good.
Right here. I'll check this as MLI fun.
Peggy, was that an exclamation of joy or frustration?
Frustration. My set on the connector tool pulled me back. I'm 45 degrees now. Stand by.
No worries. Take your time.
I get 90.
Two Fish, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good, buddy. You're enjoying the view.
You're going to position yourself, you're going to see the GEM RMS positioned for you at the work site, and you're going to position your body nadir of the GEM RMS, feet pointing starboard. We have a BRT for you when you're ready.
Okie doke. Oh, what's the number?
Oh, I got a clutch! Oh,
Outstanding. We're clapping here in Mission Control. Outstanding work, Peggy. So you can secure those remaining cables with the wire tie that you installed. Great work. Two Fish, you're going to BRT to JPM handrail 1114.
1114. All right, buddy.
And just a reminder not to touch the GEM RMS handrail or the Jeff trunnion scuff plates because of the paint issue. And then also avoid touching the GEM RMS WVE camera, the JPM aft camera, and the EFUs.
Pretty much do it without touching.
Just don't touch anything. Okay. Well, this is what I get for making fun of Peggy having to do this.
For you, Two Fish, don't even look at it wrong.
I told her that I was going to sneak over and take a picture while she was hanging off it like a koala bear. But she didn't think I was funny.
All right, we see you making your way over to the Jeff now, or the GEM RMS. Nice work. Peggy, big picture for you when you're done stowing those cables. We'll use your GoPro camera to take footage of the AMS. You've got a cuff checklist diagram, and I'm happy to guide you if you need it.
I think I can remember it, but I'll talk to you when I'm done. Then you can tell me if I'm missing anything.
You bet.
Is that 1114 for the BRT?
That is affirmative.
This is Mission Control Houston, 2 hours 26 minutes into today's spacewalk. As you heard with some degree of jubilation, Peggy Whitson installed the terminator cap for the what is known as the 1553 data path for the alpha magnetic spectrometer cosmic ray detector on the S3 truss of the International Space Station.
Move your body a little bit.
This data path has not been used since the AMS was removed from the payload bay of the shuttle Endeavour back in the spring of 2011 when it was installed on the S3 truss. This connector, or terminator cap, if you will allow engineers to re-verify the validity of this data path to see how they may make more efficient any maintenance or repair plans for the cooling system of this instrument in the years ahead. Jack Fischer, meanwhile, is securing himself near the forward portion of the Japanese Kibo module to cinch down some wayward insulation at the connector point between the boom of the Japanese robotic arm and what is called a connector latching mechanism that is around the wrist portion of the GEM, or Japanese Experiment Module robotic arm itself.
That striker bar I can touch.
That's affirmative, as long as it's...
You can touch.
That's right. That's affirmative, as long as you don't see any burrs or sharp edges. And then Two Fish, that MLI cover is actually immediately in front of your helmet, just a little bit above that helmet.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect. Now, recall that the Velcro on that, the squares are really small, and so matching those up will require a little bit of precision. Two fishes. That MLI looked like it actually detaches. I assume it's got like a tether on it. Is that right?
It does on the backside, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now I need to get around it.
So threading this wire tie. Oh, go ahead, Peggy.
I know, I just telling you it's taking me a while because I'm having trouble swinging my sling arm out. It's not swinging.
And that's for the GoPro, Peggy?
Yes. Right, go ahead and talk to him. I'll work on it.
Okay, copy that. Two fish, we're going to thread that wire tie. We want to thread it under the cable. There's a cable on your left. We want it to go under that.
Got that.
And then on the right, we want it to go That's right, the bolt heads and the striker bar.
Okay. How am I going to make that work?
That's why you're making the big bucks.
Doggy.
And best effort to form that wire tie so that it arcs back at you.
Yeah, but it's, it stops forming at the point where they're joined.
Right. Yeah, I know it's kind of floppy there, so that's going to be best effort. And Two Fish, what's your assessment of that MLI? Is that the Velcro really just doesn't do the trick?
It's pretty worthless, it looks like.
This is Mission Control Houston, 2 hours, 32 minutes into the EVA, the 200th spacewalk in support of space station assembly and maintenance. Jack Fischer continues to work right at the Japanese Kibo module, cinching down some insulation that came loose right at the point where the boom of the Japanese robotic arm attaches to what is known as the connector latching mechanism around the wrist of the robotic arm for the Japanese segment of the International Space Station. Meanwhile, Peggy Whitson is cleaning up the work site she was just at the S3 truss of the International Space Station, where she installed a terminator cap on the alpha magnetic spectrometer. This to try to re-verify the validity of a data path that has not been used between AMS and the International Space Station since the cosmic ray detector was installed back in the spring of 2011.
back with you.
We are still awaiting validity of that data path, known as a 1553 data path, through this terminator cap that, if successful, will create efficiencies for engineers in evaluating future repair plans for the cosmic ray detector.
The debris shield is departing at the AMS 02 on there, I believe, and the interface on either side of that. Correct?
And Peggy, that's going to be best effort. We've got plenty of time here, so with the GoPro, you're exactly right. We want the interface between the debris shield, specifically the mounting brackets between the debris shield and the vacuum case. So that panel that has the decal on it that's in front of you, and then that the vacuum shield is the ribbed shield to the right. So we want to kind of get the photos of the gap between those two shields.
Okay. No. All right.
How's it going, Two Fish?
I had it. Oh, I had it. And it just popped out.
And no worries, Two Fish. No, that's frustrating. You got plenty of time.
What time are we at now?
We are at a PET of 2.5 hours. You guys have been trucking through these tasks. Hey, Peggy and Two Fish, just a big picture. Like I said, we're about 2.5 hours into the EVA. Currently, we're estimating a PET, a total PET of 415 for you, Peggy, and 430 for Two Fish, based on batteries. So we're a little over halfway.
Okay. Got it under the cable, got it between the bolts and the striker.
Copy, Two Fish.
A good view of Jack Fischer in his first spacewalk, securing a portion of thermal insulation at the point at which a connecting latching mechanism on the end of the Japanese robotic arm is affixed to the boom of the arm itself outside the Kibo module, the large Japanese laboratory that is the centerpiece of the Japanese section of the International Space Station.
Port of the shield, but I can't get my lights to shine too deep around it would be, does it start? It's going to hard to tell the correction. Half side. See the radiators.
Okay, Peggy, you copy that you got on both sides of the debris shield. And again, this is best effort. If you think you've covered all of those sites of areas of interest, we can move on.
Okay.
And Peggy, you do not need to turn off the GoPro. The GoPro battery is not our limiting consumable.
All right.
Good.
No.
And what are your thoughts, Two Fish?
All right. So, got it routed. I just got to get it around this little guy.
Okay, copy.
All right, my wire tie job is only holding the JP4 in there, the other one that was on that.
High in your office, so all the Aggies, Longhorns, Bears, and Owls that work for you can see where you got your education. Be proud of what you've accomplished, because we're certainly proud of you. Congratulations again. Go Cougs.
Thank you, Mr. Pade. The President's Medallion is awarded for exceptional contributions by an individual or an organization to the University of Houston. This morning, it will be my privilege to award the President's Medallion to Mr. Marvin Nathan. May I ask Leonard Baines, Dean of the UH Law Center, to please introduce our honoree, and I invite Mr. Nathan to join me on the front.
The President's Medallion is being awarded to Mr. Marvin Nathan for his lifelong advocacy for justice, equal rights, and tolerance, and for his support of the University of Houston. Fresh out of school at UH Law Center, Mr. Marvin Nathan joined the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice as a trial attorney during the turbulent 1960s. He eventually returned to Houston, starting a law firm now known as Nathan, Sommers, and Jacobs. Just last October, he was elected by the Anti-Defamation League as its national chair for a 3-year term, where he will continue to fight for civil rights and against hate. His connections to the University of Houston are extensive. In the early 1990s, he was vice chair of the UH Creative Partnerships Campaign, which raised what at the time was a staggering sum of $277 million. That's $430 million in today's dollars. He is a lifetime supporter of the university and the University of Houston Law Center, which awarded him the Volunteer of the Year.